Another day, another PlayStation Store flash sale. This one a little bit smaller, but considering that it's coming off of the Square Enix publisher sale, as well as the Ubisoft publisher sale, adding more deals to the PlayStation Store definitely isn't a bad thing. I'm going to take a look at the entirety of the sale. We're not going to do an entire video taking a look at this sale because it is pretty small, but there are some standout deals that I want you guys to know about. On top of that, I also want to take you guys through some physical deals that are available right now because there are quite a few great deals available, namely Metal Gear Solid 5, the Definitive Experience discounted a little bit, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Marvel Spider-Man, GTA 5, and then if you do want Sony's PlayStation Classic console, I've got that discounted pretty deep over at Walmart. More on those deals at the end of this video. I know the majority of you guys are interested in the flash sale, and again, there are some standout deals for that. I'll go through each of the deals and tell you what I think. First up, 428 Shibuya Scramble is on sale. It's 50% off down to $24.99. This game was received incredibly well over in Japan. I believe it got a lot of perfect scores, and it finally made its way over stateside back in September. Now for $25, if you want a more zany experience, a more story-driven Japanese experience, Shibuya Scramble is definitely going to offer that. Give it a look if you have some interest, especially if you're into Japanese games and whatnot. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is 35% off for $39. Would like to see that a little bit cheaper at this point, just because, yes, it's a pretty good deal. However, I've seen Black Ops 4 down to like $30 flat pretty regularly, and that's for the retail copy. The digital copy has always hovered around this range. So hey, it is what it is. Not a bad deal on Black Ops 4. There's definitely some fun to be had with all of the different multiplayer game modes in that title. Of course, it's a multiplayer only game, no single player, but definitely some quality there. For you fighting game fans, BlazBlue Central Fiction is 60% off down to $24. I'm a big fan of the BlazBlue games. I love the aesthetic style. The story mode is so chaotic at this point. It's just gone completely off the deep end. And if you want something that's completely absurd from a storytelling standpoint as well, definitely give it a look. One of the more stylish fighting games that you're going to come across, but of course, as an Arc System Works title and a fighting game from them, you know it's going to have a certain level of quality. Conan Exiles is 50% off for $25. Deathmark is the same, 50% off for $25. Want to mention these RPGs and talk a little bit about them. Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2 are discounted. Let's first talk Original Sin 1. That is 75% off for $9.99. I love this game. However, comparatively speaking of the two games, it is the weaker game. There's still a lot of fun to be had, and the thing is, this is $9.99 opposed to the more expensive Divinity Original Sin 2. And if you do want to play both games, you should play the first one first, because if you play the second game, because it's so much better, going back and playing the first one, that's going to be a little bit of a jarring experience. $9.99 for it, however, is a very good deal. Divinity Original Sin 2, on the other hand, 40% off for $36. This game is absolutely tremendous. There's a reason why it's heralded as one of the best RPGs ever released on PC, and it made a very smooth transition over to the PlayStation 4 as well. $36, a little bit at a pricey point still. However, given the quality level, this is one of those games that's easily worth a $60 price point as well, and a game that is accentuated if you do have a couple of friends to play with. It's going to be an even better experience. $36 for that. Yes, again, a little bit higher of a price point, but it is such a good game and makes such a smooth transition over to the PlayStation 4. Have to give it a recommendation. Don't Starve Together Console Edition, 60% off for $6. That's pretty good. Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise continues to drop in price. That's 50% off for $30. That game's not perfect, but if you are a Fist of the North Star fan, I feel like it does the IP justice, so give it a look if you do like Fist of the North Star. Genesis Alpha 1, one of the games that I was more interested in, is 30% off for $21. It's a mix of a lot of cool different mechanics. This is a game that's been going under the radar a little bit, but those that have played it have actually said pretty positive things about it. $21 is pretty good for it, considering it just came out a little over a month ago at the end of January. Game that also saw a couple of delays, but good to see it finally be released, and now you can get it a little bit cheaper. Another fighter for you guys, Guilty Gear Xrd Revelation 2 is 60% off for $16. Hellfront Honeymoon, that's a pretty cool game. That's 50% off for $5. A twin-stick action strategy game. Hitman 2, another game that is a recent release but continues to get cheaper. That's 40% off for $36. The Gold Edition is 40% off as well for $60. Human Fall Flat is 50% off for $7.49. Lego DC Supervillains, 50% off for $30. The Deluxe Edition, $45. I do also see Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden, 30% off for $24.49. Now, this game just came out. However, this is way too expensive of a price point, and let me tell you why. Over on Xbox, if you want to play this game over as an Xbox user, you can sign up to Xbox Game Pass and get access to this game. If you're a PC gamer, it's a part of Humble Monthly right now, so you can get this game and a bunch of other titles for $12. Mutant Year Zero Road to Eden is definitely going to be a game that is either added to PlayStation Now at some point or is a PlayStation Plus offering. That is my speculation, but given that it's on Game Pass, given the fact that it is a Humble Monthly title, at some point, hopefully PlayStation users can also get easier access to it, because $25 $24.49, while the game itself is really good and it's probably worth that price point, just because other platforms are getting such easier access to it, I cannot give it a recommendation, even though it might seem a little bit enticing. However, that is a really good game, so keep an eye on it. If it sees a significant discount where it's under $10, or again, it is a plus game, or it's on PlayStation Now, reason to be excited then, but right now, I wouldn't pick it up. Pixel Junk Monsters 2 is 50% off for $7.49. I do see Styx Masters of Shadows and Shards of Darkness 75% off for that bundle, $14.99. That's quite good. One of the better JRPGs this generation, Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus, 70% off for $17.99. Good to see that game finally at a palatable price point. That game held up at like $30 to $35 for quite a while. The retail price, I believe, is still $60, but now at $18, it's a really good JRPG, often compared to Persona. Not as good as Persona 5, but even then, if you look at the game as a budget Persona 5, that's still pretty damn good considering how good Persona 5 is, and budget Persona 5 probably doesn't do the game justice. It is a quality JRPG in its own right. Vayne is 30% off for $17.49. Warhammer Vermintide 2 is 30% off for $21. Another game that's a part of Game Pass, another game that was a part of a Humble Monthly. So kind of a shame that we gotta pay $21 for it. Again, I would wait on a sale for it just because the other platforms have had such easier access to it. And lastly, We Happy Few is 40% off for $36. Wanted to give that a shout as well. Think that's a little bit too pricey, but another pretty recent release. So out of all of these deals, the highlights definitely, for JRPG fans, give Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus a look. Genesis Alpha 1 for $21 is actually a sleeper deal in here. Divinity and Divinity 2, of course, I gotta give those strong recommendations. Fighting game fans, BlazBlue Central Fiction is a good pickup. 428 Shibuya Scramble is a pretty good check as well. So a couple good deals here. Did want to give those a highlight. And moving on from that, for those of you guys that have been bummed out that we haven't been covering a lot of physical deals recently, well, I got you guys covered as there are a couple of good ones available right now. Metal Gear Solid 5, the definitive experience, is over at Best Buy for $14.99. Now, honestly speaking, I didn't even know they released a physical copy of MGS5, the definitive experience, so this is a new one for me, but $15 for it is really good. Of course, if you still have your GCU subscription, you'll get it for just $12, and that is a steal. It includes Metal Gear Solid 5, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes, which is the prequel. Pretty short experience there, but sets the table pretty well for MGS5, and you get a bunch of additional content as well. MGS5 is a game that was littered with controversy around the time of its release back in 2015. However, at this point, if you just want a solid open-world action-adventure title, if you can go into it with a little bit of an open mind, you're not expecting the long-winded cutscenes that the other MGS games had, there's definitely a lot of fun to be had in the definitive experience. And the definitive experience, as the title would suggest, is the definitive experience for MGS5. Final Fantasy 15, the Royal Edition, is also $10 off at Best Buy, $19.99, $15.99 for GCU subscribers. Gotta give the Royal Edition some love at this point since FF15's extra DLC has been canceled outside of Episode Arden, and the Royal Edition will really get you going with your Final Fantasy 15 experience. Really, this probably should have been the Final Fantasy 15 experience we got from the get-go with all of that additional DLC that should have been in the game from the get-go. That DLC being removed from the game was just pretty jarring, but nonetheless, Royal Edition has it all included. You've got the Royal Edition upgrade in there as well. You've got Comrades, the multiplayer expansion. This is a sizable experience, and even though Final Fantasy 15 has one of the worst stories in Final Fantasy history in terms of pacing, in terms of plot progression, the open world is still great, the action gameplay is solid, and there is some good to be had out of Final Fantasy 15, especially at this price. Marvel Spider-Man has a little bit of a discount right now over at Walmart.com, $35 for that. You guys know how I feel about Spider-Man. It's a great game, one of my favorite PS4 exclusives. I even thought that this game was better than God of War, maybe because I'm a big Spider-Man fan, maybe because I dug the open world so much. Honestly, if you do look at it from an objective standpoint and I remove my biases, God of War is probably the better game, but Spider-Man is great in its own right, and it sets the table for what's definitely going to be a crucial franchise for PlayStation going forward. You've got to check it out. $35 for that is a really good buy. Also over at Walmart, you can get Sony's PlayStation Classic Console, $40 for that. You guys already know what this is all about. It has a bunch of PS1 games loaded on it. If you want it, check it out. But this is just rocketing down in price. It's down to $40, initially released at $100, so just getting cheaper and cheaper by the day. And lastly, Amazon does have Grand Theft Auto 5 down to $15, so that's a pretty significant discount on GTA 5. You'll regularly find this game now for $20 on the physical copy. $15 is a little bit lower than that, so I thought I'd give that a recommendation as well. So wow, we got through all of that. Again, a PlayStation Store flash sale live right now. Not a ton of great deals available, but some standouts. And again, on top of these deals, the Ubisoft Publisher Sale is running, the Square Enix Publisher Sale is running, so if you couple all of those sales together, there are actually quite a few deals available on the PlayStation Store right now, and as far as physical deals go, MGS5 The Definitive Experience, Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition, Marvel Spider-Man, the PlayStation Classic Console, and GTA 5. Links to everything will be in the description box down below. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.